What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and today we're going to be talking about the Black Ops 6 Alpha, what we may end up seeing later this summer, plus even more. Definitely stay tuned. But before we jump into that, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, drop a like, and considering Black Ops 6 is going to be released through the new COD HQ application, that just means that just about any day now, we could be seeing a ton of new rumors pop up about the next Treyarch title. The usual data miners over on Twitter have been posting a decent amount of information over the last week and a half, and I do think, considering the rumor that we're going to be getting a reveal of some sort for this game before the start of Season 4, which is May 29th, that probably means that we're going to end up getting some type of announcement, whether it's a pop-up in-game or a trailer that just confirms there's going to be an Xbox Showcase event June 9th. Something is about to happen, and it could be, like I said, any day now. But as a reminder, we have plenty of brand new article coverage going up over on detonated.com for those that want to stay up to date with all things Call of Duty. We got plenty of writers ready to cover everything there is to know about the next Black Ops installment. I want to bring up real quickly the release date for this game, because as of right now, it's looking to be the exact same release date that Modern Warfare 2019 had. That game released on October 25th, which of course was a Friday, and that is the same release date that's currently rumored for Black Ops 6. Now, Black Ops 6 could of course release a week before that, totally plausible, but with the current rumor from Insider Gaming that the game is going to be dropping at the very end of October, the 25th, which is a Friday, is probably that date. So with that in mind, maybe Modern Warfare 19 is something to go off of in terms of when we'll end up seeing a Black Ops 6 Alpha, Beta, etc, etc. So looking at when Modern Warfare 19 did an Alpha, it was the first ever Call of Duty Alpha that's ever released, and it's of course a couple of weeks before a beta would begin. We had the Gunfight Alpha from August 23rd to August 25th. We then had the beta for that game from September 12th through the 13th. That was a bit of early access for PlayStation users, and then the open beta for PlayStation was the 14th through the 16th of September. But then a little while after that, for Xbox and PC, there was early access from the 19th through the 20th. Then it was open to all platforms for free from the 21st through the 23rd. We could be seeing very similar launch windows for an alpha and a beta this time around for Black Ops 6, but something that I haven't seen much discussion about when it comes to an alpha is that there should be some better spacing between an alpha and a beta. I think they handled that fairly well from the alphas and betas we saw for MW19, Cold War, and Vanguard. Only the Warzone 1 era Call of Duty titles got an alpha, and there was at least a couple of weeks in between the alphas and betas, so you were able to see some type of difference within the beta window following all the feedback and communication that the studios had been involved in with the players that got to play the game early. But I think if you look at Infinite Warfare, for example, the beta for that game was really close to the actual launch of the title, and what that meant was that the build people out there got to play during the beta was very, very similar to how the game released. And I think for the current era of COD, if the beta releases too close to the full launch of the game, then you're probably not going to see all too many changes when the game fully comes out, and you have to wait until Season 1 for some real changes to take effect. But if an alpha releases very early, that would just mean that a beta probably will follow shortly after that, at least by a month or less. That's the goal, and then by that point you can hopefully see a good amount of feedback listened to so that the launch window is as smooth as can be. So here's where I was going with this. So as of a couple days ago, following the launch of Season 3 Reloaded, Semtex Leaks returned to Twitter to post some new information about what he found in regards to a Black Ops 6 multiplayer alpha. So as he pointed out, this could totally just be an internal playtest for the studio. This might not be a public build that we're all going to be seeing or playing in the next few months. It's always possible that some content creators get flown out later this summer to play whatever this alpha is, and then they give some feedback, and then that gets put into whatever the beta build does look like, which we are going to see at some point. I highly doubt that we're not going to get a beta this time around for Black Ops 6. When was the last time we didn't get a beta for a COD? It's been quite some time, but when it comes to this alpha, I'm certain that the usual leakers out there likely haven't gone through everything that's bundled with the Season 3 Reloaded patch. Maybe they have, but I'm not a leaker, so I couldn't tell you. But what I could guarantee is that when the Season 4 patch rolls around in the next couple of weeks for May 29th, I can bet there's going to be a ton of spicy details about Black Ops 6 in that update. I'm actually nervous about what's going to be in there. Hopefully nothing too crazy in terms of spoilers, as I love the element of surprise, the hype, and the marketing. It's always great when things out there don't get leaked right before a big reveal, but you can bet there's probably going to be a bunch of info about the next Treyarch game, considering we're going to end up seeing a showcase on June 9th, and that's probably when pre-orders do go live, in which you could then probably take some pre-order bonuses into MW3 and Warzone. Now, I think a big takeaway here is that if there is a public alpha for Black Ops 6, keep in mind there was an alpha for Black Ops Cold War from Treyarch many years ago, that would mean that this is the first non-PlayStation exclusive alpha that we're going to be seeing, because unfortunately, looking at the last couple of alphas that we got for other CODs, they were all exclusive to PlayStation, none of them ended up coming to Xbox and PC, at least not from what I can remember. Obviously, with the betas, you get 1 weekend for PlayStation and then 1 weekend for all platforms, but the Sony exclusivity deal has officially come to an end with Modern Warfare 3, meaning that because of the Microsoft buyouts, we're no longer going to see any type of PlayStation exclusive benefits inside of Call of Duty. Whether that means Microsoft wants to go ahead and say, hey, you can only play the alpha if you have a Game Pass subscription, or if you're on Xbox and PC, that remains to be seen. I highly doubt they're ever going to do that, at least not for a while. I'm sure that this will be the first alpha that you could play on all platforms. I don't think Microsoft wants to get off on the wrong note with the first Call of Duty to release under their leadership. Imagine how crazy that would be, but let me know in the comments if you think the alpha will have any type of exclusivity whatsoever. I highly doubt that. I think at most over the course of Black Ops 6 and at least for the next couple CODs, you might see some benefits here and there where it's like, hey, if you play this COD while having a Game Pass subscription, or if you're playing while on an Xbox, maybe there's a combat pack here and there or some cosmetics, but nothing crazy in terms of content or early access by any means. That's just what I'm thinking right now. But as far as what could be inside of this public alpha, here's what I'm thinking, right? So in Black Ops Cold War's alpha, that featured 3 6v6 modes, 3 multiplayer maps, and 2 combined arms experiences. Now, at least in my opinion, like I mentioned before on a podcast, I don't think an alpha should be the full multiplayer. When I say full multiplayer, I'm talking 6v6, I'm talking a bunch of maps and a ton of weapons. I think an alpha should really stand out in comparison to a beta. The alpha should really just be one mode, and it shouldn't be one of your core modes for 6v6 like TDM, Kill Confirm, Domination. It really should be something like Gunfight, or in the case of Vanguard, we ended up seeing Champion Seal, which was a phenomenal mode that unfortunately didn't get any support over the course of Vanguard's lifecycle. We obviously know why that was probably the case, but I think that was a flaw during Cold War's alpha and beta. It's that you pretty much played a beta of sorts during an alpha, so by the time the beta actually rolled around a few weeks later, it's like you had already played most of that content already, which led to, I think, some earlier burnout, and then the launch window came around, and there also wasn't much in terms of multiplayer 6v6 maps to enjoy. Obviously, multiplayer really got turned around with Season 1 and beyond. A lot of maps ended up coming out after that, but I'm talking about the alpha and beta launch windows. I think it's best if the alpha is kept to a minimum of like 1 to 2 modes, and then save the 6v6 for the actual beta. But if you take a look at a calendar, this is when an alpha could potentially release. This is, again, if Modern Warfare 19 is anything to go off of. This is pure speculation, but maybe we end up seeing an alpha of sorts at the end of August, and then at some point throughout September, as we typically see, we'll end up seeing 2 weekends of a beta. But now that I think about it, I'm like, wait, now there isn't any type of exclusivity for a certain platform, so is there even a need for multiple weekends of a beta? Maybe they won't do that. Maybe they'll just end up doing 1 weekend for the beta, because we also have that rumor from Windows Central that apparently as a pre-order bonus, you'll maybe get 2 weeks of early access to just the zombies. Or what if it's more than the zombies? What if it's more aspects of the game, like the campaign, and then 1 round-based map out of the 2 that are rumored for launch? Maybe you don't get multiplayer, but you get early access for a few weeks to other modes, hence why they might not do a second weekend of the multiplayer beta. That's totally plausible. Or they could switch it up where it's like, hey, 1 weekend is for early access for pre-orders, and the other weekend is just for everybody else, and it's fully open. We have a lot of changes that we're going to be seeing for the Call of Duty franchise this fall, and I really can't wait to see what they are. But the last thing we'll end with is that Semtex Leaks over on Twitter did report on a Safehouse. We obviously saw a Safehouse back during Cold War, but it was really just a little area of the game where you could select your missions. There were some mini Easter eggs within the Safehouse, intel you can listen to, some cool dialogue you can experience, but it wasn't anything too crazy. Apparently, the Safehouse we're going to be seeing for Black Ops 6 will allow you to purchase upgrades for your player. You can upgrade your equipment, your weaponry, and you can even test firearms in this Safehouse. So this sounds pretty damn cool, and again, a big step up from the Safehouse we did get back during Cold War in 2020. And I'm also really crossing my fingers that we do get early access of some sort to the campaign, because I would hate to miss out on enjoying the campaign as soon as possible, because obviously day one you jump right into the zombies. Since you already experienced multiplayer through the beta, you want to jump right into the zombies and whatever else wasn't experienced during any type of early access period. So crossing my fingers that Black Ops 6 does follow the footsteps of MW2 and 3, allowing us to play campaign a week or 2 early. But that is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Leave our thoughts down below in the comments section. What are your thoughts on what we know so far about the Black Ops 6 alpha? Obviously, this is premature information. It's a bit early to talk about this stuff, but yeah, the showcase isn't that far away from now. We're supposedly getting a Black Ops 6 reveal event of sorts before Season 4, so figured we talk about this now before they end up officially announcing something like an alpha at some point early this summer. Really hope you've enjoyed, and peace out, everybody.